blessed ones, consider the oratorios of the lilies, how they open the fountain of their consciousness and flood the world with light perfume, the fragrance of eternity captured within the transcendent bowl of their receptive consciousness. I am come this day to bring unto you a touch of our great light, the light of one Father, the light of the ages shining into the splendid corner of this moment in the net of time, drawing all men unto me, and saying once again, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. For when you lay down your burdens upon the altar of God, when you bring your burdens there and speak from the depths of the pure reality of your desires to be one with the universe, to merge the love ray of your consciousness with the love ray of God, the creative ray. It is a release of the immortal power of freedom from fear, from oppression, from the graves of mortal consciousness, unto the splendid awakening that sunders in man and delineates that which is darkness from that which is light. I have said, hear my voice and follow me in the regeneration. I come today to bring the knowledge inwardly of the abundant life to all, that the inward sense be resurrected is my call, my prayer, my invocation for all mankind. Men are still filled with dead men's bones. Men are still whited sepulchres, containing within the content of the mind those vicious manifestations of human darkness that brings man down into the valley of the shadow when all of heaven calls him to regeneration, to the drumbeat of life, immortality, and the thread of contact. The heart of God beckons still to man and will, until the end of the dispensation, clarity of consciousness comes through application of the heart as the heart of a flower unto God. For the flowers, beloved ones, they contain no jealousy. The flowers contain no desire to give hurt. The flowers contain no will even to survive, but are satisfied to drink in the light of a moment and leave unto God and the purposes of life their future, which is immortal. For they come from angel hands into manifestation, and they are resurrecting in man new thoughts pointed toward the starry way of freedom and rejoicing. For the hearts of men that are allied with God are able today to reach up in the mystical silences of the heart of being, and communing with the All-Father, say unto him, O God, hear my call, and bring mankind, one and all, into that inward realm of peace and joy, where the Holy Spirit can function in its great domain of becoming a comforter to every part of life. Are you so, O mankind? Are you so? In your sowing, do you desire to bring refreshment, comfort, and happiness unto others? Out of the miracle, out of the blessed sense of true being is born immortality. Spontaneously it flows forth and brings comfort to those who mourn, to those who sit in dark places waiting for the light of cosmic rebirth to kindle within them a flame of holy worth that shall once again reconsecrate them unto God. It is to this that we dedicate ourselves this day, to the reconsecration of the hearts of men to the new and living way which I am. For I am the resurrection and the life. Of infinite faith in your hearts, will you allow this day the infinite faith which I am to flood forth its light and tangibility into the fold of your being, and understand that one day this faith and this tangibility of being, this reality of cosmic joy, will be a fountain springing up within the heart at that moment when you desire to impart unto others care and consideration and love. Moments come and moments go. Some are joyous, this you know. But when the soul that seems so frail begins to open its eyes into the great radiance from the skies, that soul at last will know the peace I am. My peace I have brought with me this day, and my peace flows forth. It is an inward function of those who are able to still the thoughts of the outer mind, to still those unkind barbs that men unfortunately reserve for other men made in the image of God. but usually spare me from. At holy moments such as these, yet I say, as I break the bread of life with you this day, the memory of our Father still abides within. In the stillness of your being is the eternal consciousness raised. And through the process of raising, we will contact other realms and other spheres this day and bring the sacraments of the years to view. One day, these shall fade away and be no more. The years shall seem as toys. The years shall seem as periods of discord, the creation of noise and confusion. And in the realm of infinite harmony, where I am, my joy will remain. The joy of your own I am presence will be the refrain you sing. A new song, a song melodic, a song transcendent, a song of hope to the world, and a song of the miracle that is to be, when many hearts, now failing for fear, at last awake and are quickened, once again by the tender mercy and grace of infinite healing love. I am the power resurrecting within man the healing of his being. Let that which is crooked, that which is out of the way, that which has become darkened and neglected, now be regarded and loved forever, never again to depart from the sanctuary of our being. A state of consciousness where the cathedral of the individual soul can perceive the great vaults and arches of being in manifestation, creating in the body temple and in the temple of the mind, in the temple of the feeling world, in the temple of the eyes of the soul, a place of refuge for our God, thus making all whole. Total wholeness, total peace, and total joy is to be found in the fountain that gushes up as an eternal spring within the heart. Will you now, forgetting outer conditions, forgetting times of pain and trouble now past, open up the gateway of your mind and let there be the sound of a rushing mighty wind as the Holy Spirit comes forth to bring refreshing springs from within your heart and being. The day spring from on high hath visited you, and you are refreshed. And there are heard the sound of bird notes and the sound of angel choirs. For in the temple of your life, the inspiration of the heavens is born. Here upon the earth, where mankind is incarcerated in a state of fear, comes from heavenly realms, from the mountains, from the hills, where your eyes, the eyes of your heart and soul are lifted up, the understanding that the oneness of God has brought you freedom at last from all fear and torment. I am the good shepherd. Those who are my sheep know my voice. For deep within yourself, from the spiritual realms, comes this voice of reality. At inner levels, you may hear the sound as of thunder, and the sound is of mighty waters, and the sound of the still small voice. For the prophecy, the voice of the weaver, and the loom shall be heard no more at all in thee. The voice of sighing and of gloom shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, is a prophecy that need not be. For prophecy shall fail, and prophecy shall be fulfilled. Only that which is holy, only that which is benign, only that which is radiant ought to be. These are the thoughts of God. This is the radiance of eternity, speaking in time. This is the hope of the world. I am the hope of the world. The I am within you is the hope of the world. That which spake of old unto Moses in the burning bush, saying, I am, that which blazed and consumed not. This is the Spirit that within you shall make fat your bones, shall bring to you that understanding of your own hidden inner being, that radiance of cosmic joy, that flood of infinite perception, whereby the Christ consciousness comes at last into manifestation within your world. Then the effulgent garments which I wear will billow around you as around me in days of old. The garment which you wear for the marriage feast of the Lamb will bring peace unto the world. I am the resurrection and the life. Only that which resurrects, only that which kindles life, only that which is immortal, only that which is victorious, only that which overcometh both death and hell. This also shall be. For the former things must pass away, and all things must become new. The things of the world, these things which are in manifestation today, which masquerade upon the pages of life and bring turmoil to men, these are not peace. I am the Prince of Peace, so called both by man and by God. Will you hear my words? Will you understand the meaning of the fountain that speaks within? Will you understand the wheel of the law, the great dharma of the law, as it turns within? For as the lightning cometh out of the east and goeth unto the west, even so shall my coming be. Lo, I am with you always. But are you with me always? Let this be a sign unto you. Whensoever you quote these outer manifestations of the inner living Word that is the only begotten of the Father, will you give answer and say, Lo, I am with you always? Then shall mankind at last arise and see that the responsibilities to cleanse the temple of individual life is the responsibility of each man and each woman. It is well that you look unto me and live. It is well that you look unto God and live. But, beloved hearts, will you understand the responsibility? Will you understand the depth of the requirements of the law of life and the law of love? To look unto heaven and live is well, but will you also look to your responsibilities, to the understanding of your functions here in the world of form. As I have drawn all men unto me when I am lifted up, so I require by cosmic law, as the Father required before me, that you shall also lift me up and be lifted up unto me, that you shall come unto me, even as you expect me to come unto you. For there is a mutual exchange of cosmic grace and joy. We who hold the realm of the elder brother say, one day you shall also hold this realm. And when it comes unto you, and the cup I spake of is passed at last to your lips, even as it now is passed, and yet shall be, I say unto each and every one of you, will the great cosmic love tides of heaven come forth through you, as they come forth today through me. Only by preparation, only by inner response, only by dedication to the faith of the eternal can this be so. For your life is not your own. Ye were bought with a great price. And the price of that purchase of every individual is the infinite, all-embracing love which our Father has brought forth from the foundation of the world. The example of His victory, which manifested in me and raised me from the dead, will also raise you from the dead, as you accept this consciousness and be free. For your outer consciousness is changeable. Will you understand this? All your consciousness is changeable. If it were not so, you would have remained faithful unto God from the beginning. For you came forth from Him, and to Him you shall return. Somewhere along the journey of being, each man shall return unto God. The words, how long, O Lord, these are uttered by men in those moments of despair, when they begin to despair of life, and they seem also disturbed by the longevity of mankind's journey back to the heart of God. For the journey seems long unto many, and many long for home. Many long for the return to the home of peace, of joy, of light which I am, to the Eden, to the paradise, to the radiance, to the victory, to the accomplishment of cosmic purpose fulfilled. Will you understand then that just as here in this world of form you have life experiences, so do we have life experiences in the eternal realms? Why will you suspect that we have no experiences? Why will you think that the end of life, the outgoing of the final breath of a man saying, it is finished, signifies the end of that one's being? I tell you, it is but the light of the dawn of beginning. It is the light of hope and the beginning of the fulfillment of a period of the greatest joy that eyes have not seen, that ears have not heard, that cannot be spoken, for these words are unspeakable. If mankind today knew the tremendous radiance in our spheres, the joy and the peace that is there, even our best servants would yearn to return home. They could not scarcely restrain the bonds of flesh. They would break them because of the tremendous joy and promised radiance. Fulfilled and waiting. Do you understand that of which I am speaking? Humanity are here. My sheep are here. Fear not, O little flock. It is indeed the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, but not without the responsibility of service and the responsibility of acceptance and the responsibility of the joyful entering in to our kingdom, even as has been done by those who have passed before. Each of you, in times past, prophets were stoned, divine men were sawn asunder, they suffered all manner of anguish for my name's sake. And in the period of Christendom, men have been thrown to the lions in my name. They have hidden in the catacombs and been hungered and thirsted and still retain the joy that is truly the joy of soul. Today we find many who with their mouths speak words of adoration, but are far from me in heart. They are far from me in purpose and mind, and they do not understand our life. We call them blind, and truly the blind lead the blind, and all fall into the ditch. But this is not God's purpose. Hence I come to you this day to kindle within you this flame and call you unto service, renewed service unto God in my name. For then shall the fountains flow once again, and the brook Kidron shall rejoice, and behold, the desert shall bloom as the rose, and behold, mankind shall know pain no longer, and sickness shall flee away, and the mountains be removed. And behold, a great level plain of universal oneness shall appear before all, and be raised upward into glory, into infinity, into reunion with the Father of the blessed. Lo, I come this day. Lo, I am, and I have never ceased to be, nor shall it ever come, for I am one with infinity, and I beckon you onward to that place where I am, that ye also may be there, a place of peace, a peace of joy, and of the consciousness of immortality shall be given to each of you as a crumb from the sacred loaf of the I am consciousness. O angels of joy and peace, angels of love and infinite radiance, descend now into the chalice and force field of those who are little children, of those who are little children in heart as well as in body. Unto all, bring thy peace and thy love. Radiate thy wondrous manifestation of cosmic joy. Joy to the world. Lo, I am come. Lo, I am within your heart and mind. Lo, I live. And when the world receives me one and all, am I not then truly manifest upon earth once again? For each of you a living Christ are, each of you a fragment from a distant star of immortal light. Be then what you are, a son and a daughter of the oneness of God. Let us invoke light for man. Let us invoke the angelic host. When I reflect upon the numerous times that the angels of heaven comforted me, I know that they can comfort you and will. They shall not only comfort you, but they shall indeed observe the ritual of service to you this day and always. The guardian angel shall come, and the angels of record, and they shall bring the ancient records to your mind, and you shall see that which you have never seen before. A flood of illumination I invoke this day. I say, let those perceptive ones in the world have their eyes opened, and let the angelic hosts bring the newness of cosmic wisdom unto man. Thus shall the universal plan appear, and freedom from fear and doubt and confusion be. For these shall be no more, and mankind shall have the restoration of the plan, and the earth, which is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, shall once again break forth with singing and with joy. And elemental life shall rejoice, and the angels shall sing, and men shall hear them, and they shall see their teachers, and peace shall be restored to every heart. The rainbow of promise shall radiate over the world, and the heart thereof. For lo, it is not the will of God that any should perish, but that all should come to the knowledge of the law. As I leave you now, I leave you my peace. I leave you my strength, my light. And I pray that what you shall do with it shall indeed restore to man the greater part of the plan. Greater work shall ye do, for I go unto my Father. Greater work shall ye do, for you shall be a Christ in manifestation, as you accept the immortal image which gave you birth and life and breath and hope. Lo, I am with you always in those cosmic fires that blaze upon the altar of your being. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. Behold the truth that remaineth unmoved forever. Peace be unto you. Each of you, beloved ones, have experienced the joy of childhood. You have experienced the joy of being crowned with the omnipresence of God in nature. Your heads have been crowned with the capstone of the sun, the energy of the sacred fire descending through your heart chakra, when the longing of other spheres was given voice in your mind, and the whispers of immortality were heard within the palace of your heart. O beloved ones, stop for a moment and consider the great panoply of light, the large number of advanced beings who have contributed the warmth of their heart, the devotion of their being, the fires of their magnificence to the great citadel of light that is existent in the universe today. Consider the number of individuals now removed from the screen of life, either through the change called death or through the ritual of the ascension and the magnificent beauty that is involved in many of their lives from the day that they first entered into the higher realm. For that which they have brought here, that accumulation of light, also existed in them when the sacred fires pulsed, even in their heart flame, and blazed among mankind in physical embodiment. Those of you who are now upon the planetary body are having the exact self-same experiences that many of them had prior to their ascension or their removal from the contemporary scene. Beloved ones, we want you to understand that the same care, the same permanence, the same perfection that wrought great works in their lives is also alert and working in the name of Almighty God in your individual lives. And more so when you open the door to that cosmic perfection that is your own beloved God presence, and allow the remembrance of inner spheres to come to you now while you are in the world of form, while you are in physical embodiment. I want you to remember tonight that you are spirit sparks, that the aura that surrounds you of consciousness is the aura also of other worlds and other eras, of other times, and from the magnificent cup of eternity. I want you to understand that the glories that God has showered upon you in this life also is the remnant of His own glory given to you, which so many have appropriated and utilized as the talents of life to enhance those blessed talents and gather more, whereas others have buried them literally in the napkin of neglect and have judged the universe unworthy to receive the warmth of their love, which heaven well intended from the beginning. I want you to know tonight that every one of you then were created in the mind of God with the firmest intention that you would bring to heaven and to the universe the warmth of your personal love and your personal dedication to cosmic purpose. When then you fail to do so, the universe itself is in effect a pauper where you are concerned. For by your withholding of the momentum of God love, which you have also received from the heart of God from the beginning, you are holding back the progress of the entire universe and stopping the great wheels of life in a relative sense. As above, so below. For the cosmic fires that blaze do so with the energy which God utilizes to raise all of life. And inasmuch as you are a part of life, beloved ones, it is anticipated that you will see how that specific part which you are belongs to no other. For each individualization of the Godhead, each of you are just that, is for the purpose of fulfilling a facet of immortal destiny, a piece of cosmic consciousness in action. Just because you are embodied in a physical form, just because you wear the effects of the cycles of limitations which you have karmically imposed upon yourselves, is no reason whatsoever to continue the process of degeneration. The Master has said, "Follow me in the regeneration." And I want you to understand that this is a great kindling of the fires of immortal love once again upon the heart's altar of each of you. I am called the great divine director, and my purpose in manifesting is to fulfill the power of universal freedom, to raise the banner of freedom over the heart of the world, that the flame in the chalice of life and the banner of devotion may brightly beam and wave as heaven intends. We want you to understand that purpose is born in us, even as it is in you. We want you to understand that purpose is born in you, even as it was in us. For all things were intended by God to fulfill their purposes most magnificently. And when they do, I want you to understand that great things happen in the world of form, as well as in the spiritual realm beyond. You would not think, beloved ones, of entering our realm without a contribution of your own God-given energies, would you? Well, beloved ones, what makes you think then that you are allowed and permitted by cosmic law to function in this world of form and do exactly what you want to do from an outer, carnal-minded standpoint? I tell you no. It is not possible for a human being endowed by God with eternal grace to actually escape from paying homage to God for all that He has given unto man. You have received your gifts, precious ones, that you may shower them upon others, and thus gather more gifts, as magnificent crystals, as beautiful diadems, as shining radiance, the shower of cosmic truth that is the magnificent treasure of heaven, vouchsafed to every part of life, does manifest and will manifest in the future a greater radiance, because the universe itself possesses the capacity of transcendence, which is the shining and polishing of the jewels of life, even in the snake pits of mankind's carnal reason. We want you to understand then that the consciousness you have was intended to be magnified and glorified by the thoughts of the Lord Himself. You are intended to share His thoughts. You are intended to be a part of His life plan of the future of all mankind. No one upon this planetary body in physical embodiment, and no one who has ever ascended in reality, can prevent the great manifestation of the diadem of you from manifesting if you want it to do so. For heaven itself has intended it. And who else then dares to interfere with the concepts of the universal light itself? Will you accept this? Will you understand it? Will you take this measure of cosmic wisdom, which I am giving to you this night, and will you calculate how it affects you in your role, blessed ones, of manifesting upon the planetary body? Well, you see, a very interesting thing is involved in all of this. If you are able to accept what I am telling you now, and all mankind is able to accept it, it would simply change the entire thought patterns of the world and produce the perfection God originally intended. So it is not really that big a task, is it? It is simply the acceptance in your own feeling world of the diadem of that plan and pattern of perfection which your magnificent God presence already has in store for you at inner levels. And I want every one of you to release yourself from those patterns of thought and feeling which themselves have held you bound for so long and have caused you to hang your blessed heads, when in reality we would like to say to you, as some of the great masters of the elementals have said to the elementals, to the other manifestations that are life itself, raise your little heads and swing them up to the light of the sun, and behold the hopes of heaven for every one. When we say, look unto the mountains and live, it is just that. When we say, behold the light of 10,000 suns, it is just that. When we say, behold the light cometh, and the love of God is poured out upon the earth, it is just that. And when the flame in your heart begins to pulse in a more than ordinary manner, it is to thrill your soul, for heaven loves to thrill mankind with the great cosmic hopes that speak of the dawn of infinite peace to myriad hearts, and shower the love of God upon the heart of the world. Mankind today, through what we may call, even as you call it, the doldrums, the lowering of your head downward, as if you were an animal that had a tail, and now that tail was no longer wagging, but you were actually standing, subdued in consciousness and fearing what might come upon you. Beloved ones, we want you to understand that what might come upon you, what will come upon you, is the perfection of your God presence, if you will only let it. Don't you see that it is man's own thought of limitation, man's own failure to apprehend what all of heaven has always told him, that has prevented mankind from manifesting the great cosmic glory and perfection of life, not only here upon earth, but also in the realm that is to come? Will you then firmly dedicate yourselves in heart, mind, and consciousness to the great tides of freedom, to the freedom from fear and doubt that ought to be the lot of every man? Oh, you say, some doubt simply because they do not have faith. Well, it is not quite that simple. You see, why do they not have faith? They do not have faith because they have persisted so long in the wrong thought about themselves and about others. They have literally subscribed to patterns of limitation, and now quite suddenly they decide that all of these patterns which they have subscribed to for so long should subside and automatically be wiped out, as though they were holding in their hand an eraser which would sweep across the great board of life and remove all the causes and cores of darkness now presently manifesting in their world. Beloved ones, we are doing it just as fast as we can. The question is, are you? We want you to understand that moments of devotion are opportunities for magnification of the great God design in your life. When you allow great surges of cosmic devotion to flood forth from your heart and to give unto God that glory which He has also given to you in the beginning, which most of you have forgotten, then I want you to know that in those surges there is being brought forth the magnification of cosmic energy in every cell of your body. And when that energy comes into every cell of your body, it will enable you to fulfill much of the divine plan which lies ahead. But when instead you look at all of the failures in your life and in the lives of others, you are actually magnifying those failures and giving power to those negative qualities which ought not to manifest upon the screen of life. Do you see how this works? It is simply a matter of law. Mankind energize, and when what they energize is not of God, it also manifests. And the blessed elementals that are involved in life, who do so much for mankind, they, as great mimics upon the screen of life, carry out the exact edicts and orders of embodied mankind. Are they to be blamed for this? Seeing all that they have in life is the opportunity to imitate? Beloved ones, I want you to understand that you can be free from all this sense of limitation that humanity has had for so long. But do not expect that when you go into denizens of darkness, when you hobnob with those who are involved in patterns of iniquity, do not think that you are going to suddenly manifest the perfection of your presence. We want you to understand that while the statement birds of a feather flock together may be attributed to this world, it is a great truism. It is a great statement of fact. For when mankind become involved with outer manifestations, and they are constantly associating with those who are devoted to darkness, can we expect that they will manifest light? Truly, there is a very definite qualification to the activity of satsang, to mankind's associates and those whom he decides that he will mingle with. A man can be known in heaven and upon earth by his friends. I want you to understand that many of those that you call friends are not really so, for they are truly interested in what they can receive out of you rather than what they can give you. Do you understand this? Will you acknowledge it? I want you to understand clearly that this is the law in action, and you are all fulfilling it and living it from time to time, especially in the past. Now that greater wisdom is descending into your heart and mind, we expect a greater manifestation of cosmic action in the world of form, where individuals will be able to do many of the things that in the past they could not do simply because they did not have the faith. We have desired this night to explore with you the possibilities of raising your faith to realms of higher dimension, and therefore the service was dedicated tonight to the increasing of your faith in cosmic light and cosmic law. Men and women lament the conditions of the world. They lament the conditions involving many individuals in this world that they know, that they are associated with, and they say, why is this person this way? Why can they not be different? Well, beloved ones, does this not also apply to you? Or are you the exception to the law? We want you to understand that charity ought to begin at home. We want you to understand that charity ought to begin with cosmic service to your own mighty I Am presence. For then, when you begin to serve the presence, truly the presence of life will turn around and serve you. This is the law. Mankind today, remember the fable of Aladdin and his magic lamp. And the sense of magic is internally engraved within the soul of man. For truly, the magic of cosmic liberation, the instantaneous demands upon life, was at one time the forte of embodied mankind. They were able to speak, and their word was fulfilled. For the manifestation of God, the life of God, was in them, and mankind was not curtailed. Through cosmic law, because of various eruptions in mankind's doings, because of conflicts between individuals, and because the very destruction of the earth was imminent, mankind's powers were limited, and the karmic lords did limit mankind. We want you to understand these laws. We want you to grasp these things, so that you may become proficient in finding your way out of the maze of mankind's mortal consciousness today, through accepting the great cosmic burdens of life, the burden of light. My burden is light. Will you accept this? Will you understand it? Will you try to understand it? For we realize that here tonight, and also in other places in the world, where our words will be spoken, mankind are in divers states of consciousness. All are not the same. All do not have the same clear-cut understanding of cosmic law. Some marvel because they do not quite understand how it is possible for me to speak and to bring my energy to bear upon the pressures of mankind. Well, I have come because I was invited here. I have come because the way was prepared, and there are devotees here who have functioned by cosmic law and brought about the necessary invitation to our octave of light so that I could speak, and this invitation was issued to me many months ago. We want you to understand, then, that heaven is most concerned and obedient to the needs and requirements of mankind. It may not always be so, for heaven will not always strive with mankind, because mankind dwells too much in the tabernacle of the flesh and not enough in the potency of the Spirit. Within him is the great power of universal magic, the magic of your own I Am presence, the magic of life, the transmutative essence from the heart of God, the powers and keys that command mystically and powerfully even the atoms of life so that they will obey you. True it is that some men have wrested some of these powers and secrets from nature and the universe, but they have been governed by cosmic law, and when they have transgressed, often they have found that life itself, in its very exacting demands, brought them to their knees and stripped them of their power before they were able to use it too destructively. We want mankind, embodied mankind, especially the students of the cosmic law of life, to understand that mankind that elects to do iniquity upon earth and to yield their consciousness to demons and forces that are not of God will ultimately find that they will pay the penalty. As you have said, they will pay the piper. And I know it is true. Beloved mankind, will you recognize how great the God flame is within your heart? Will you stimulate that flame tonight in your heart and demand of life that its pulsations rise higher, just a little bit higher? If it is a quarter of an inch, will you expand it to a half inch? I am not asking too much, am I? I am asking you to do this as an experiment in the expansion of the quality of life in your own being. The light that is within you is the light of God that never fails. Well then, if that light never fails, it ought to possess the power to raise itself a quarter of an inch, when in reality it is just as easily able to raise itself a quarter of a mile. I want you to understand this law. Mankind has proscribed the sense of their limitations, and in the proscription thereof they have established it. They have appointed the bounds of their habitation and the measure of their advancement. We want you to understand that by a simple adjustment in consciousness, you are able to increase the scope of your advancement in manifestation. Try it and see. Beloved ones, if at first you don't succeed, try again. You will succeed at last if you recognize also the need and necessity of bringing other elements of your life into cosmic obedience to the precepts of God. There are many who have recognized the power and virtue of the 10 Commandments. There are others who have also recognized the power and the virtue of the commandment of love. But both are given the same grace. For the grace of the law and the grace of love are one. Love and law function in mankind, and humanity have this most marvelous opportunity this night to rise up from beds of pain, from standards of darkness to standards of light. The very fact that humanity today, embodied humanity, is enabled to receive these transcendent spiritual laws is proof to mankind of the great potential which lies within them. Let us see tonight whether or not we are able to exercise greater God control over our lives, mankind as well as ascended beings. Do you think, beloved ones, that where we are, all progress stops? I hardly think so. I will also make an attempt this evening to increase the scope of my influence among mankind. Oh, you say, you desire to have influence. I want you to understand that I do, for the influence that I want to exert upon mankind is the pressure and power of love for their divine presence, so that the power and scope of love among mankind may be greatly increased, and new resurrections may come to all mankind, not only in the matter of the celebration of Easter, but in the celebration of the daily resurrection of mankind from the realm of sleep. Beloved ones, have you thought upon the possibility and potential of giving greater glory to God when first you open your eyes? For, blessed ones, He has kept your life through the night. He has guarded you. He has watched over you. He has sent His angels to you and given them charge over you to keep you. Will you understand the great beauty that is in this concept? Those of you who have marveled at various times at the painting of the children upon the bridge, as the angel, the guardian angel, watches them with watchful and loving care, should understand also that heaven watches them wherever they are, and heaven guards them when they especially call unto God and see that that invocation for the protection of Almighty God is active in their life. When you are silent, there is also a silent call that is made to God by your own beloved internal soul. There is also a call that is made to God silently by your body elemental for the necessary protection for each day of your life. But won't you consciously join in the prayers of that vital soul force within you, the prayers of your own body elemental, that you may manifest at last the fullness of the fruit of life in action. Each year should see progress. Each day should see progress. Somewhere in the matter of living, you ought to chisel out of life the magnificent statue of cosmic protection and radiation that is the image of God in each of you. You are sculptors of your life. To you is given the virtue of the manifestation of righteousness, not self-righteousness, but divine righteousness. This is the righteousness qualified by the living God. Self-righteousness is that which mankind have qualified in themselves, which exerts the pressure and pull of human jealousy upon other parts of life and creates conflict throughout the universe. We want you to understand that the righteousness of God is that which speaks within you when you are blessed with the voice of conscience, directing you into the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. I am the great divine director. I have brought to you tonight the fullness of my joy, the cup of cosmic direction, the cup of cosmic perfection, and the jewels which I carry with me are lustrous and glowing. They are vibrant and living. They are kindly and kindling. O beloved ones, will you let them do their perfect work? Will you let the will of God manifest within you? Will you let the will of God manifest in your heart? Will you let the will of God manifest in your mind? It is up to you. Heaven will not in any way attempt to force itself upon you, although I do not mind admitting that I would myself, if it were possible by cosmic law, do so, as I am sure many other of the students of light would themselves. But mankind have free will, and I must remind you that that free will was given to them of God. It has indeed hindered mankind a great deal. But at the same time, blessed ones, when human beings have emerged from the conflict of human wills versus divine wills, I know that the divine will that has triumphed in man, because man wanted the divine will to triumph, is indeed a crown that is the crown of a climax of cosmic manifestation, and I say a climax in the maximum. I thank you. Down the crystal rays I come. I am Sabiduria. I come to manifest light within your heart. From far off turning worlds I come. The evolutions of the universe, of all cosmos, are one. You have pondered the problems of your own contemporary self. You have observed the muddled consciousness in manifestation in diverse individuals. You have seen the psychic charade that has appeared in the world with its manifestations of darkness. But I say unto you, the brilliant light of cosmic purpose illumines the pages of that which is to come. Mankind, you are destined to illumination. You are destined to manifestation of those glories you have not yet dreamed of. For when we speak from higher realms, down the starry radiance into your realm, it is to bring you awareness of the infinite tenderness of life that has tempered the wind to the shorn lamb, and has so beautifully adjusted your consciousness that it can today, O mankind, raise you into that devotional offering reminiscent of a floral one. You raise your consciousness toward God as flowers do. You drink in the light of the suns. You drink in the energy of those of us who have formed a conglomerate whole and have not excluded you. Even the tiniest grain of sand is adored and loved by us. And if we center our love in a micrometer of cosmic consciousness, will we not give thee, O mankind, thou who art so much larger, a greater measure of our hopes and our potential, and even the crown of fulfillment? The hopes of the world ride with the Christ consciousness. They are involved in the sweetness of this noble effort, made 2,000 years ago and never ceasing since, and yet extending backward in time to the royal priesthood of Melchizedek, he who was born without father and without mother, without actual beginning of days or ending thereof, but made like unto the Son of God. For light has always been, and from light and the power of light within the heart of the Word, all creation through the great cyclic rounds has and does manifest. Yet today there are men and women engaged in little games which they play because they do not wish to think that the universe is a place of genuine perfection, but one of manipulation. They have learned in the marts of life, of the darkened states of consciousness, that like a puppet dance as the strings of life are pulled. We, from our octave, are so aware of the power of your divine presence to lift you up that we know that only your God presence can successfully manipulate you in that cosmic way whereby, world without end, a new manifestation of God is born momentarily. Each day, individuals are called to a higher awakening. Each day they rise. Somewhere upon the planetary body, cosmic responses are being born right now, while others lag and linger. There are those to whom the fruit of reason has given them to understand the glory that we knew with the Father eternal before the world was. The movement, the diastole, the systole of a heartbeat signify the nearness of God to each one. The drums of life are beating, and like the surf of the sea, they carry the roll and the thunder, the peal and the rejoicing of infinity echoing into the bounds of infinity. For where else can it be? Shall time alone retain all that is? The whole net of time, from the foundation of the world to the present moment, beloved hearts, is not able to either conceal or to reveal all that has been, all that will be. For you are children of the Son, in the sense that you were created as brilliant sparks of universal reason, now so opaked by the sundries and destructivities of the age, we invoke in you release, that you may find that release through your acceptance of the great intent of your own beloved God presence to raise you up and to make those cosmic determinations for each and every one of you that shall separate you from the darkness which has created so much unhappiness for you and for all mankind. It has never been, it is not, it never shall be the plan of God to create those darkening conditions and responses of consciousness which cause mankind to shudder in soul because of the return of the karmic patterns to those who have created them. Karma, beloved ones, was created only as a cosmic law of mercy unto life. For if mankind create darkness, they must of necessity reap it. If it were not so, the whole cosmos would be polluted by the darkness of those who do pollute the universe, with the negative vibrations of their minds and hearts, their suspicions and their distrust of infinity. The way to God has been made plain in ages gone by, but the greatest plainness comes to him who understands the return of karma, who sees in the action and the interaction of the tides of life generated between one embodiment and another a returning current. But when his mind is enmeshed in all of this alone, and he does not also raise his head up into the airy heavens of God to behold in the clouds of heaven the purposes of universal Christ reality, he is indeed as an ant in his own chambers. He does not see the civilizations of the world stretch forth from pole to pole. He does not see the cycles, the solar cycles of your system of worlds. He does not see the eye of the righteous that ever beholds the cries of the children of men, and gives ear unto their requests, that they may rise one and all into that marvelous consciousness where at last they can now behold in these latter days the great cosmic opportunities that are the opportunities of infinite freedom, a freedom that will and ought to be the engulfing action of cosmic realms. Those who come from higher realms to this earth actually laying down their great crowns of rejoicing and functioning at higher levels to come down into this domain, that we might also resurrect mankind from the darkness of dead works into that marvelous consciousness of your God presence, where the concentric rings of that God present become a tangible reality for each and every one of you today. And you are able at last to understand, to comprehend, to open the great gateways of consciousness, to feel the trumpeting of life over land and sea. For heaven is really very near indeed to earth, but earth has turned a deaf ear unto it. They have not heard. They turn instead to outer manifestations without understanding the great virtue and beauty of the billowing clouds of righteousness, of life, and of angel faces peeping through to mankind today and revealing to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear that heaven is full of meaning and portent, not just a place where man theologically can be, but a state of consciousness where he today may bear witness even unto his fellow men to the greatness of the eternal purpose made manifest. You are then children of light. Why will ye bear at any time the stigma of darkness? Is it not because the vibratory action of the earth's spheres have become so dense by reason of mankind's imitation of one another. I think this will prove to be true as the karmic record is engaged, as the teeth of mankind's attention is turned unto these conditions that are existing in your world, these political conditions, conditions of entertainment, conditions of mankind's procurement of necessities of life. As man examines the pages of media and observes how the manipulators continually create those situations where they are able to say unto mankind, tomorrow we will do this, and it is so. For they intended to do it from the beginning, and darkness covers the land. Mankind should understand that clear thinking and universal reason would promote a greater understanding of the purposes of life and mankind's employment of his opportunities in contacting the light of God that never fails. For the light of God that never fails is resident within all, but in some is covered over with such an overlay of mortal consciousness as scarcely to be seen, even by the individual himself, who cannot understand why he feels so cut off from happiness and seeks to find it in outer spheres of action rather than within the temple of his own being. I tell you then today, in the name of the living God, that your bodies are temples of the living God. I tell you today, in the name of the living God, that your lives are also temples. And you have that great opportunity towering before you to understand the mysteries of the Spirit which are available to mankind today. They may be hidden, but they are hidden from the profane. They may be taught in secret, but they are taught to those whose hearts are on fire with the burning zeal and devotion to know and to understand, to grasp and to comprehend that your teachers are not removed anymore into a corner, that they stand before you from time to time at spiritual levels and speak as I am speaking unto you today, saying, arise from the dead and receive and perceive the righteousness that lies within you, the white stone of cosmic manifestation, the new name which no man knoweth saving him who receiveth it. In reality, those of us who function at what we call the divine level, the God level, are many. We are many, and we are one. And our oneness is also colossal, for it gives us the greatest peace of heart and being to know that heaven has broken the cosmic loaf and placed the seeds of light abroad in the universe, scattering the seeds of light everywhere, providing a conflagration of the future, when the kindling shall come, and at last the flame shall blend in all, that God may be all in all. Gloria in excelsis Deus. So be it. Let it come. We await the manifestation of our oneness. Yet our diversity is also a manifestation of our oneness. Let all understand this, and be not in darkness. For whereas mankind may be many, each one seeming to perceive in himself a unique manifestation, in reality all are one, in the spirit, in the sense of the highest goals, which are clearly before you if you will open your eyes. Mankind see and say, we see not. They hear and say, we hear not. For there is a consciousness permeating mankind which is not of the light, and that is the darkness. The light requires no darkness in order to show itself clearly in contrast, for the light exists, and one day there will be made the fullness of that statement in manifestation. There shall be no night there. For the glory of God shall shine in that city foursquare, the city of consciousness, where the universal souls of all men shall gravitate to, shall arise to, shall find their way. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. But we say unto you today that there are doorways and there are shuttings of doorways. There are cycles and there are ending of cycles. There are manifestations and there are ending of manifestations. When we came to you today, it was to flood you with light, and we have done so. If you sit here in our midst and do not perceive that light, the fault lies not with us, nor does the fault really lie with you, but with those failures which you have made to apprehend, to raise your foot upon the stair of life and ascend one step at a time. Individuals say, we do not have the perception. Let me tell you, beloved ones, the power to perceive is one step at a time, and is denied to none. All deny it unto themselves when they fail to enter in to the radiation and beauty of their divine presence. You have a divine presence. That presence is filled with ineffable love for mankind. When you meet your friend in the marketplace, is it a matter of extending greetings as angels do at higher levels? Do you say as you meet your friend, eternal love be with you. Eternal salutations come unto you. Eternal strength give pulse and rise within. Usually men meet with suspicion and distrust. They meet with disrespect, and what they receive in return is the anchor of that disrespect which they give posited within themselves. When men meet with an infinite cosmic greeting of light, as the angels do, when they meet free of all consciousness of sex manifestation, when the divine universal manifestation is perceived, then they are as the angels in heaven, and that greeting of infinite love which they bring is like unto it. It has been said of old, behold, the Lord liveth. I say today that he liveth in thee. I see you today as sons of flame. I see you today as clothed upon with his holy name. I see the seal fixed in your forehead as fixed in your mind. I see your consciousness determined and not blind. I am Sabiduria, and I come today that I may enliven you, that I may quicken in you that indomitable God energy which will bring forth in the world of form a new activity of light, that activity become the fullness of the faith is our prayer. You are aware, and you know, and you behold in the world the various activities which denote the end of a cycle. You are seeing souls now born upon this planetary body that have not set foot here, nay, not in 2,000 years. Now they come, and earth is host to them. Darkness covers the land because understanding and failure have allowed individuals upon this planetary body to lower the standards, to bring themselves downward in their spiritual development, to fail to comprehend and to learn from bad examples that which ought not to be. We continue today to hold up the torch of reason from our level, but more effective than all is the holding up of the torch by you. For you at your level are the ones that require correction. Mankind needs to be lifted up. Those from our octave have already lifted God up, and in our realm and state of consciousness we are. Therefore we say to you, we who possess immortal life, would you also possess what we do? Would you also be one with us? Then help mankind, for the great power of that karmic action which mankind can engage in when they are willing to offer themselves in the service of mankind's development, when they are willing to offer themselves in the service of bringing humanity itself to a higher level of development, is very great and will expiate most tremendously the karmic action of individuals. Do you see? This means, per se, that each of you, through a cosmic action of your own God self in the world of form, as you extend the cosmic truths to mankind, or make the attempt to do so, as you continue with your magnificent decrees, radiating light and love toward the world, will bring forth in the world that manifestation of the ascended master consciousness that will allow us to step through the veil and to manifest, that you may clearly see us here in this octave of consciousness. Do you see? We want you to understand this. We want you to understand why humanity in the past have not received that contact with heaven which heaven intended them to have. Certain individuals have indeed received it. These, in many cases, are no more. They do not actually walk amongst you, for they have already proven themselves worthy, and they are graduates from this planet to higher levels of consciousness, where you all ought to be. But we would not for the world strip the world of those valuable emissaries which we have in you at this time, for mankind need this light that you are receiving today more than they ever realize or will ever know in their present state of development. Will you then, recognizing this great potential and the needs to educate the young, to provide a proper teaching for humanity, see the need to embolden yourselves in your divine search and call forth that which never has been on land or sea, temples of light, temples of glory, temples of beauty that will become palaces of higher learning, where mankind can at last, as they erect these palaces, and as they find those teachers who are willing to serve in them, create a new mind and a new heart in the world of form and among all mankind, and new generation shall come forth that shall call him blessed forever. And the teachings of God that shall start from the earliest age shall echo forth in lives coming to maturity, until mankind at last shall see that the kingdom of God is with men, and we do step forth from behind the veil into cosmic manifestation right where you are. I paused that I might send forth waves of cosmic beauty and perfection amongst you, and I raised them up to greater height, towering waves of light, sweeping from our retreat on the Isle of Suva, inundating continents and people with the tides of love, almost an aggressive love, but falling short of interference with mankind's free will. We accept the impetus of your free will, and using the free will of those of you who consent to our activity, we sweep across the world, removing all human barriers for those moments of time the cosmic law will permit us, and flooding the world with light as it never before has seen light. For this is divine direction flowing. This is divine direction glowing. Upon your cheeks, the ruddy radiance of heaven glowing bright, those cosmic fire beacons shining through the night, awake the souls of men to peace, to reckoning with love, and understanding all God is, descending from above. The radiance pure invokes the plan, the brotherhood in man. For God is all in all. I am perfection's plan. up the crystal road from untrammeled spiritual heights, I return back to the great God Star, showering blessings upon humanity, releasing fires of infinite calculation, trusting the future with the patience of the living God. I am Surya. Children of one Father, I greet you in the holy name of the preparatory vibration to your investiture with the grace of divine Christhood. For the world waits for the dawn, for the renaissance of our love. And our love is overwhelmingly made manifest to each of you according to your faith. I, Maitreya, come to you this night in God's holy name to kindle and to quicken your consciousness and the vibratory action thereof, that you may be a new creature in Christ, in the consciousness and awareness of who and what you are. We have called you forth out of the land of bondage, out of the darkness into the light. And beloved hearts, what we long to see manifest in all of the student body, those who are devoted to the unfailing light of the Christ, is an increase and step up in the level of the radiance of your own God presence as it manifests already in your world, but now more fully as you admit it into the sacred precinct of your own God-centered will. We say, let the will stand forth and devote itself upon the altar of fealty to the perfection of your God presence and to the great cosmic release of that ineffable light which your own beloved I Am presence is manifesting both now and always, because you are the light in the eye of God. You are a blessed part of cosmos, of the creative manifestation of universal perfection. When you call forth your perfection, do so with the authority of Almighty God. For who shall act for you, if not yourself, your true self, that portion of divine manhood which is wholly devoted to the release of the perfection of your presence in your own practical daily life? Beloved ones, when you pray, give us this day our daily bread, is it not because you expect that daily bread to be made manifest? Well then, is it not time for each one to recognize at last that the cosmic hour has struck, that all mankind should come into such sweet consonance and perfection as to make them truly brothers in manifestation? What is it in the world, save Antichrist, that causes brother to sever connection with brother and spreads abroad in the world the shroud of separation and darkness? What is it that draws mankind into the universal magnet of cosmic harmony but your own God presence? The magnet of your presence is manifest here now. I speak to you as a father. I speak to you as a brother. I speak to you as one who has gone on before, but who is with you still, because the flame of your true cosmic identity is ablaze within the center of your being. And because that flame is there, I am there also, as is every other ascended being and the universal embodiment of the perfection of the whole God panoply of manifestation. All are there in the chambers and the recesses of your heart, those beautiful vaulted regions where the power of expansion dwells. Do you not know that the temple of your heart is the doorway to the love of God, that the great love ray in manifestation literally pours forth to inundate the entire world with that indwelling love for the universal Christ, which will change the face and complexion of mankind until they wear upon their face, as within their heart, the smile of God, a smile that is as the smile upon the face of a little child who is willing to walk through the darkness and tremble not, for he knows that on the other side of the darkness of this current region of infamy, which mankind calls temporary life, he will find if he be constant to his trust, which God has placed in him, as God is also constant to his trust, which some men have believed in God. Then you see on the other side the beautiful light that shall never be extinguished, shall manifest not only for yourselves, but for all mankind. And what a bonanza, what a gift of cosmic love, when humanity are gathered together, the entire family of nations, under one divine regent, under the living omnipresence of the Son of God. The time is now when mankind must commence the gathering together for a cosmic purpose. And when we come together with you, as we are now doing, it is not alone that we come, for we come also with myriad hosts of angelic beings, and we come also with the great hosts of heaven, the ascended Master's consciousness, to renovate your hearts, to create a renaissance of hearts, that men may once again realize the power of cosmic vision. What is cosmic vision if it is not the ability to perceive? And it is by your new perceptions of your new reality, of your new investiture, which the universe has made in you, that you will begin to perceive at last that you are a new creature in Christ, one who is no longer like unto his former self, being changed from glory unto glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. For the cosmic truth that is with you is the omnipresence of God. It comes into your heart as though it were a tiny babe. And then it begins the expansion process. For God within you grows within you. God matures within you as you grow up in the understanding of the compassion of your presence for every part of life. Life is one, and when men are admitted to the sacred precincts of the great white brotherhood, when they come into that sacrosanct area, the holy ground upon which we tread, they will be a different person. For the vibratory quality of the sacred law, of the sacred fire, which is within your heart now ablaze, will lead you and guide you across the desert sands, the emptiness of life, the failures in life, and the